Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about something that a lot of people get wrong with fitness, and that is that people believe when it comes to fitness that if you're not fully in, then you're fully out, or that if you're not doing it perfectly, then you're doing it wrong. And it's ultimately the thing that either puts people off starting a fitness journey in the first place, or just stops people from making any kind of progress whilst on it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about a previous experience that I had when it comes to this kind of concept. So when I used to work in a pure gym, when I used to be based in a pure gym, I remember there was this one time whereby Sainsbury's had a deal on, I think it was like donuts or something like that. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to be an absolute top boy and I'm going to bring these donuts in and share them with all the other like gym instructors and PTs that work there. And I remember I was bringing these donuts down, and I remember one of the members stopped me and they said to me, "Why are you eating that? Like, you shouldn't be eating that. You shouldn't be eating a donut." And I'm looking at this woman and I'm just going, okay, why? Why can't I be eating it? She goes, "Because you're a PT, it's bad for you." And I was thinking to myself, 100% like it wasn't her fault. She's just probably very, very misinformed. So I didn't, criticise her way of thinking or anything like that. But it got me thinking after it. There's a general assumption that if you are involved within fitness, then you need to be perfect with absolutely everything. That couldn't be further from the truth, right? Because think of it like this, there is something known as the bell curve. And what a bell curve is, it's just basically an upside down U, and it kind of proportionalises the general population. So the lower averages are at the bottom end of the curve, obviously with a very, very small amount. There's a small amount of people in the lower average, okay? And then the majority of the average of the population comes in the middle, and then the higher end of the average comes at the top. And you can honestly relate this to everything. People who go on nights out, the general average, nice and in between. The general population go on a night out every now and then. The massive sesh heads probably go on lots of nights out every single week. The people who don't really like nights out as much probably don't go on many nights out, so therefore they're in the lower average of people that go on a night out. You get the idea. It's like it's a nice little upside down U which proportionalises the general population. So the thing is, fitness is the exact same thing. Sometimes you're going to get people who are in fitness but are also the lower end of the health spectrum or the average spectrum, right? And these are people who potentially go to the gym once, twice a week, but then their diet is filled with nothing but cocaine and pizza, right? That is the lower end of the average. So a lower portion of those people who are into their fitness do that. The general population is obviously nice and in there. So the general population of people who are into their fitness and into the whole fitness shebang do the things that they need to do and do it quite averagely, quite regularly. So they obviously go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week at least. They track their calories, they try and make healthier squats, they try and make supportive squats, and they try and stay nice and fit. That's literally what they are. The upper average are people who like bodybuilders or performance athletes or any kind of people like that who are into their fitness, because they're in the top average, which means that these are the people who are probably going to try and optimize their nutrition in the best possible way. The reason probably why these people won't eat chocolate or won't eat donuts is because they have no advantage towards their performance. It's not the fact that they're bad for you, just that they have no advantage over, for example, chicken, rice and broccoli towards their performance. And they'll just want to try and improve their performance as a result, okay? So these are the people that are in that higher average. Now, as a coach, as a PT, as someone whose career revolves around fitness, I'd like to say that I am in the higher average, but not so much in the higher average that I have to be incredibly strict and incredibly restrictive with my diet in much the same way as a performance athlete, okay? So I'm in that higher average because obviously I go to the gym 5-6 times a week, I play football twice a week, I'm pretty on it with my nutrition, and I also teach other people about it. My whole life kind of revolves around fitness, but I'm not so, into it that I'm performing at a high elite level. So that's the thing, when it comes to fitness, you don't have to try and be in that high average, that high percentile of the bell curve. You just need to be around that middle section at the very minimum. Ideally, we'd love to push you into the higher percentile, which means you're going to the gym 5 times a week. You're, pretty on it with your nutrition, you're pretty intuitive with it, and you're pretty smashing it. You're staying nice and active every single day, every single week, and you're not making stupid behaviours or habits. You are in that little bit of the top 25% of the bell curve. That's where we want you to be, okay? In an ideal world, top 30%, potentially. Because remember, the general average of people who say they go to the gym and are on it with their fitness probably go once or twice a week. Don't really worry too much about their nutrition. Don't really worry too much about their steps. Just try and do it as they can. But we want you to go past that. We want you to go to the gym as much as you can. We want you to start progressing. We want you to start getting stronger. We want you to stand out from the average. But we don't want to push you into a pit where you are at the utmost extreme, because in my opinion, the utmost extreme in the positive section of being into fitness is just as unsustainable and unachievable as being in that low percentage. So the thing about fitness is, overall, that you need to understand is, in order to be in the fitness space, in order to be transforming your body, in order to be on a fitness journey, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be in that upper average. You don't have to be doing all these things that you see performance athletes or elite level athletes do. You don't have to restrict all of your favourite foods. You can, if you really, really, really want to, and if you want to be that top 1% of the top 1%, feel free to. But there's a very high possibility that you won't stick to it. And that's why there's no point in trying to do that. If you want to, best of luck, fantastic. I cannot help you do that because I do not coach athletes. I do not coach performance athletes. I don't coach football players. I don't coach bodybuilders. I coach the general population who want to go from being in the general population to a little bit better than average, or even more better than average, or in that top 25 or top 10%. And in order to get from there to there, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to do the basics well. You need to have a life which you enjoy, one which doesn't weigh you down, and one that you can stick to doing all this fitness stuff consistently. Because ultimately, in order to get from that top 25% to the top 1%, you need to do a hell of a lot more. You probably need to live a little bit of a miserable life in your day-to-day life, because you'll need to be tracking your food a little bit more in detail. You need to be tracking your carbs, your fats, your proteins, your fibres, all of that stuff. You need to be eating a set meal plan every single day. You need to be going to the gym 6 times a week, optimising your carb intake, carb loading, optimising your cardio and all that stuff. But to the general population, to the people who aren't performance athletes, that wouldn't be ideal, and that's not what I recommend you do either. That's the thing that people get wrong about fitness. Not everybody is trying to be perfect. Only the top 1% are. I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions for me, send them through to my Instagram at k.p_health. If you want any of my free resources, including my Ultimate Eating Out Guide, my 5-ingredient recipe book, or my free alcohol cheat sheet, send me an email on my email address, kieran@kphealth.co.uk, and I'll send them through to you ASAP. In the meantime, take care, have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll speak to you again soon. Peace.